Alrighty, it's a history lesson. We're going to talk about our old draft teams, more SAPA DPP drafting history. Corey's here, David's here. Say hi.
Gaming.
Yo.
So we're going to start all the way back in January of 2021. The first time we ever really did a draft that was like good. My God, it was 3.5 years ago. It's crazy.
Crazy.
So we're gonna start with my team. My team was very good. It went undefeated. It kind of created a lot of like lasting, like kind of jokes and stuff in our Discord and stuff. Like Starmie Zapdos Metagross, super good combo. Of course, the term 12 bricks being associated with Metagross started here. Big Fat Meanie, the Venusaur. Swim Reaper for Kabutops. And then just kind of introducing Jumpluff being like stupid to everybody. But yeah, this team was hella good. I think still to this day it's my favorite team I've ever had.
It was very solid. It was a really annoying core to deal with, especially the Zapdos Metagross core was very frustrating.
And then Heracross is a sweeper.
Yeah, playoffs especially just kind of was a.
Dude, I was the one team that almost stopped the season, and I didn't know Custat Berry existed. It was so fucking bad.
Actually, JT almost beat me too.
Yeah, but then JT fumbled playoffs so hard by dropping Electivire.
He did.
You dropped Gyarados. No, he dropped Gyarados.
Yeah, why don't we talk about JT's team?
So JT's team was kind of like on paper the prodigal son, because he had A Jirachi and then B Gyarados with like what was first Electivire and then later Jolteon, i.e. the two Mons you want.
Right, so like the
Garifire gimmick. So it was like, okay, well shit. And then you look at his defense and he's got Milotic, which is incredible as a defensive Mon. And I guess we thought Claydol would be fine, but I think this is honestly the only season it was really drafted, if I remember correctly, maybe. But
yeah, we'll see later.
Doesn't do a lot. And then I'll give shouts to his Pinsir, because I used Pinsir later. Pinsir's a good Mon in draft.
Yeah, Skuntank also very good. Magmortar is also crazy.
Magmortar's a beast.
Yeah, good fire type and then for sure.
He had pieces that people would later see as like really good Mons for different teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Will's team. This one was also pretty influential.
Second place.
It was second place.
We all learned
Will Tyranitar, Bronzong Swampert.
Yeah.
Very, very solid defensive core.
Incredible list of OUs.
Yeah, Mesprit also a good pick. And Credilli
Hitman
was really...
Hitman Top went crazy this season.
Now Credilli was the hero.
Well, yeah, I mean, that thing was really annoying for me, but I remember Hitman Top doing really well in a lot of games that season.
Was the origin of Stonk, and everyone, after seeing what it did to David, just being unkillable, we're like, oh no, how do we deal with it? But then we quickly learned that.
That was definitely a very common team building question.
It was so.
Yeah, like we were up against Will that week. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to be like David was that week. His week, you know.
Yeah.
David, we can talk about your team. This team ended up becoming a foundation of another really strong.
Yeah.
Team
So I mean, I'll talk more about it when we get to Legacy League 1, because that's kind of where it all comes together. But my team building philosophy is type variety, like get as much as you can, like try to get every single type if you can. But I think, this is in pick order, right?
No. I don't know what this order is, to be honest.
Oh, I'm guessing I had third because I got Lottie. And I think we all kind of still knew what the top three were. So I was like, great, I have my Dragon Nuke. And then...
No, actually, I remember. I think it was weird. It went Tyranitar Jirachi. And then I think Brian took Roserade. And then I took Starmie. And then you got Lottie.
Oh, well,
I remember Brian reaching
it was something really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But regardless, I was just like, let me cover all my bases. I got Empo as a defensive steel and a water type was really good. Infernape, this format has a lot of limited fire types. Picked that up early. I drafted a lot of mons that I thought would be cool, but they ended up, as we'll see later, kind of cementing a better core. Donphan was really great for me in this season. Amazing spinner, highly recommend. This is obviously the start of Raikou dominance, Raiku's generational reign over our drafts.
Yeah.
He really just fucking ripped through teams. I also drafted all of the Reggies. I think Reggie Steel is pretty solid, like super worth at first for people because Steel is just really good. Slowking is also solid. We see that go back and forth too. Porygon 2. This is the season where I paralyzed JT's Jirachi, I think 10 out of 17 turns.
That was
or
so
something.
funny.
Like, it was crazy. Another good mon just because of Trace. I'll always give special props to Leafeon because of Natural Gift, really funny stuff. But yeah, I got third this season for my first builds, and it was super solid. I think I dropped Empo for Kingdra in playoffs.
Yeah, I think you did too.
But, a lot of good pieces here as well that we would see later down the line, kind of like JT's team, get picked up and become lasting foundational parts.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of like the general thing we've seen, because these are the 4 teams that were in playoffs, these first 4, and a lot of these Pokemon have been picked multiple times since then. Just because, I mean, some of them are pretty obvious why they're taken, but like,
we should
some of
say
like the
now.
lower tier ones, like they always find their way there, and they're always
good. We should say it now. Venusaur has like every ring, right?
Venusaur's won twice.
Twice? Oh, I thought it was 3 times, but
twice.
Yeah, I feel like Venusaur reign started here as well. So yeah, but Corey, I think your team's up next. This was an interesting season for you because you and I met in what did you call it? A tiebreaker for playoffs, which is crazy. And I remember specifically from that set Tauros for 1. So
yeah. So what I remember from this early team in DPP that I had was it started a few things in my history of Pokemon. Me and Heatran started off on a really, really rocky start where he really kind of shit the bed every week, where it felt like he was useless.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got to the point where I was like, I fucking hate Heatran. He sucks. And then I discovered and fell in love with the 2 sacred Heatran sets that I still swear by today, which is the Spadef Heatran set and Scarf Heatran. And those 2 sets are very, very good. And we repaired our relationship. I think a lot. I don't remember if I had him in Legacy League 1 again, but I know. Yeah, I've used him since, and it's been good. This is where I fell in love with Breloom. I was a big fan of, and Shaman. But Breloom, especially this early, the Sub-Seed Breloom set was, I spammed it a lot, and then kind of pivoted later into more offensive sets. Shout out God Blossom for destroying JT in the early season of this and cementing its place in DPP history. But yeah, so it was a funny set. I was using Shaman as the weather setter for Blossom, which is not something you should do, but it was funny.
Very funny. This is also the start of Raikou LARP, right? With
oh yeah, I don't think I called him that here, but yeah, Manectric, a very, very solid, very strong, low tier electric type, and electrics are very good in draft when ground types are limited.
Which we'll talk about in a second.
Oh yeah. No, we got some things to talk about.
Especially this.
Yeah, real quick, I want to highlight Brian's team here. So nowadays, like, Brian is probably the undisputed GOAT of our league. Back then, Brian was not cooking the way he is now.
No.
This team didn't do it.
Yeah, this might be the worst team Brian's ever drafted.
Yeah, that by far.
Yeah, Ludicolo, I remember, was where he ended up just kind of pivoting his team towards the end because it was like a really good win condition.
Yeah, and I
but
know he had Bashtodon at one point.
yeah, but
Oh no.
he picked up a spinner, which was
Yeah.
good. The Hitmons are all solid spinners.
Yeah.
If you really need that value pick. I mean, Brian loves Smeargle, but like I think in draft especially, Smeargle just doesn't really cut it.
I don't know.
I don't think we've seen it since in our league.
No, probably not.
But
For a
Spiritomb
tech,
really...
it's tough for a tech slot to fit when there's so much competition.
Yeah. Spiritomb's a really good pick. I think we see that
good spin block, ghost type.
Metacham's also super solid.
Yeah, it felt like it was really on Ludicolo and Suicune to do everything.
It was.
Yeah.
Roserade was not a good first pick.
Yeah. Also, so here's Adam. Now, Adam has a history of picking the same team every time. This is the start of this trend. Please remember these Pokemon, because you will see them many, many times.
Yeah.
And then Aaron has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ground type Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's take a guess. How many games did Aaron win in this season?
This was 0, right?
The answer is 0.
Yeah.
Aaron went 0-14.
Yeah, because we double round
why
robin.
Raikou and Zapdos were so dominant is where are the grounds?
Well,
They're all
And even
no one else had
Evire, because didn't JT, wasn't he second in the regular season?
Yes. That might be what this order is. Now
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so it's like, look at the teams that had ground types. They did well. And if you didn't have an electric resist, then like you were getting mulled over by Zapdos, Raikou, stuff like that. So
even Evire / Jolteon.
Yeah, so this presented a very
painted that picture.
Unique drafting process for us, was our ground types were severely limited by Aaron taking all of them.
Yeah. I'll say for Aaron's team, I remember towards the end, like we saw what Venomoth could do, weirdly enough.
Yeah, Venomoth wasn't bad. It was my favorite ground
Venomoth wasn't bad. We saw, kind of what Quag could do. I think, weirdly enough, Nidoqueen got overshadowed on this team, but we'll see later how good it becomes.
Yeah.
But I guess we round out with Adam's team here. Kind of just talk about.
Yeah.
Team looks like Adam's team.
It's like it starts that trend, like I kind of mentioned. It's the same dudes. You're gonna see them again and again.
Thing to note about Adam's team, he's got a lot of Stealth Rock League guys. Well, I guess not that many, but
he also ended up building a Sun team, which I remember he brought against me. I think
a pivotal moment in Adam's development.
In Adam's life,
yeah.
So,
but I mean, with this team especially, I think we kind of saw how good Blastoise can be for UU slot. Really good focus spinner. Be a phaser, has toxic, like a lot of good utility that probably would have been better supported on like if you're gonna commit to hard weather in Gen 4, probably a rain team as opposed to a sun team. But don't commit to hard.
Don't do that.
As we will see in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, but Blastoise, good pick as well.
But yeah, so
if you're thinking about him.
From this season, we kind of were like, yo, this was awesome. Mm-hmm. Let's do it again. And because I based most of the league and how we run it off of my crippling edition of fantasy football, I came up with the idea of what if we had keepers?
Yeah.
And you would keep up to 3 Pokemon from your team. You can have 1 in each tier, right? Either an OU, a Tech, U, or NU. So I also made the thing that's like, all right, if you won the league, then you had to get a whole new team. And you could choose if you wanted to keep or not. So we went into the Legacy League, and we also decided to allow draft day trading. And we expanded how the rosters looked.
Yeah,
so these look wild. So let's break it down real quick. So we had a max of 4 OUs you could have. And we basically extended all of them by 1, but you couldn't have more than, I think it was 13 Pokemon on your team, and you couldn't have fewer than like 9.
Yeah.
So it's basically you couldn't just trade all of your slots. Like you had to be smart. So
names.
They were good names. So we're gonna start with David's team. As we kind of mentioned, like David kind of had that foundation of what would be really strong. So you kept Lottie, Raikou, and Donphan, and then look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert, I won this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I filled out where I found my weaknesses in season 1 here with OU picks like Gyarados and Scizor. So I added basically a setup sweeper in Gyarados, incredible setup sweeper that pivoted really well with Scizor with U-turn. Scizor is an incredible OU mon. I really, really love Scizor, especially banded Scizor. But they really fitted each other nicely because Scizor would do a lot of damage, but pivot into either dropping a Draco or setting up with Gyarados or even clicking a button with Raikou. Donphan, I had to kind of pivot away rocks from Gyarados. Again, Venusaur here really shining. Just an incredible fat mon. Could always bring it as a wall.
I love Venusaur.
Was good switch-ins to electric moves as well for Gyarados, right? I had a lot of Gyarados kind of coverage and utility here. Magmortar was really good. Again, we'll see that. I somehow got Porygon 2 again, which is interesting. I remember bringing Toxicroak like twice. I think someone had Rain this season, and that's why I remember bringing Toxicroak. Yeah, it's Adam. Yep, it's Adam. Okay. But I remember my playoffs team was Lottie, Gyarados, Scizor, Raikou, Donphan, and Mismagius. And Mismagius was actually a really good ghost. Ghosts are limited in this format, so really good UU pick. I recommend it. And I think I know more teams pick Mismagius later as well. But yeah, this team really was everything that I needed it to be. So major shouts.
Yeah, it was a good team. Yeah. Corey, let's talk about your team. I remember when we would build with this, we just kept going, Jesus Christ, there's too many water types.
Oh, yeah. I'll be honest, I don't remember a whole lot about this team.
Well, you kept Breloom and you kept...
Yeah, I kept Breloom, I kept Slowbro, and I kept Manectric, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of fucking trading I was doing.
I remember I think I gave you my BL because I don't have one.
That would make sense.
Yeah, but I don't know what I was cooking. But yeah, what I remember from this team, Cresselia was pretty good in the weeks I didn't have to fight T-Tar. Tentacruel is cool because it can spin and it can absorb T-Spikes, and it's a good special wall. But yeah, I had way too many way too many water types, which is a problem, especially when you're running a mon that is 4 times weak to grass, like Swampert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have much insight about this team because I don't really remember it too much.
Yeah, no. Well, I know us 3 were at the top, so I'm assuming this is also still like regular season order.
No
probably.
way. Corey did not get first since regular season.
I don't know. Maybe he did. This is my best guess.
This had to be pick. No, this had to be pick order.
No, it was not pick order. It's definitely not pick order because I won. I would have been at the end.
Oh, yeah. That's right. And I would have been second, or I would have been third, and Will was second.
Yeah. So.
This is regular season order. Props to you, Corey. Holy shit! I don't know how you flushed that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I have to look at the stats.
I remember during
at JT or let us know.
Yeah, I remember during the draft, I actually traded up with Brian to take Heatran.
Yeah.
And I gave him an NU slot, and he picked Gardevoir in the first round.
He did do that.
He did. This is where my hatred of Kingdra comes from, because it felt like every time I brought it, I brought the wrong set. So I hate that guy.
I love that guy.
Gaming Gengar, this is where he came from. It's around the time we made that emote. And then I rounded out with just some good Pokemon. Vileplume is going to become a fixture on my teams. Yeah. I love my grass poison types from Kanto.
Camel is here. Got to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about Camerupt. I'm going to take Camerupt in every single subsequent draft. It's really good. It's neutral to rocks. He gets boom. He lives hits he shouldn't. And he defeats the legendary electrics because they're not going to run HP water. Probably.
True. No, so true.
Yeah, Camerupt's cool. Skuntank's cool. Yeah, I liked my low tiers.
You had some really good low tiers that we'll see again and again on more teams. Like Hitmontop's back here, Melodic, Mesprit. I remember Tauros from fighting Corey in playoffs tiebreakers. Like,
Tauros is good.
Because that thing has a great speed tier. Banded was good. A lot of good stuff.
Brian's team, I remember he drafted all his NUs first.
Yep.
And then he just kind of filled it in. And it worked out pretty well for him.
So the grand finals of this season was actually me versus Brian. And, it was funny because the entire season he was running NU Trick Room with that Deep Sea Tooth Clamp Pearl set.
Oh, yeah.
And, Banded Rampardos and, like, all that stuff. But in playoffs, he brought, like, his OUs. And I remember Blissey was, like, a big problem for me. Just, I think, mentally, because at that point in time, I wasn't really, like, an actual Pokemon player. So giant defensive pink blob made me angry.
You haven't moved past that, by the way.
To be fair to me, I have a lot less problems with Blissey than I do with Clefable. But
that's still scary.
Shut up. But anyway, I think what Brian's team showcases for future seasons is the strength of Nidoqueen. I think this was really a good season for Nidoqueen. We already talked about Blastoise, but for me, Sceptile was really a big winner because I think I drafted in the next season, and he showed some fun stuff with that.
So kind of hop into the other teams. We'll go kind of quick through a couple of these and just highlight some little things. This is the start of JT taking the most mid team.
I'm loving Polyrath.
All these Pokemon, you'd be like, yeah, these are good Pokemon. But they don't really do it. They don't have the it factor. Which is like, if you're going to win a draft league, you need to have a Pokemon that is broken.
Which we all thought was Jirachi, but
it never really seemed to do it. Not on this team.
Especially because it was 3 Psychic OUs.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this team got eaten by Ghosts and Darks.
Yeah, it had some rough matchups for sure. I don't know. It just didn't feel like... You even look at it and go, oh, yeah, star-shaped Pokemon. That's really it.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Hall's team. So, Pat actually joined after the draft. And he was like, oh, this looks fun, I want in.
Right.
And because we're all stupid idiots, no one took Powdon, nobody took Skarmory, nobody took Clefable. So Pat just kind of got the sand balance that is very, very strong.
This was the start of Hall's dad and Joshua.
All together.
True.
So, yeah, this team was very good. It didn't make playoffs, but it was kind of one of those, like, oh, we have really been ignoring the good defensive Pokemon. We should take them more.
Like, I would not be surprised if somebody drafts a team like this now.
I don't think we would let that happen because
I don't think we would let that happen.
Clef are going to go a lot earlier. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's
we've seen time again how good Hippo is.
But it's a good if you feel like your play style leans towards defensive, this is a good structure to try and mimic, I would argue. So
look, Adam has the same team again.
Except it's rain instead of sun.
That's not even a rain team.
No, it's rain. Kabutops, it was always Damp Rock, Rain Dance, Crobat, Kabutops.
I don't know.
Suicune.
Always is a strong
word.
There's 2 fire types here. This was a spinner. He had to spin. With all these Rock Weak Pokemon, like, Kabutops can't always do that.
No,
but yeah, it's Dragonite, Suicune, Lucario, like, these are Adam Pokemon.
No, I remember because I brought Bryskin Toxicroak to fight him, and it fucking cleaned up. It was sick.
And then, also, I'm just going to skip over Will real quick, talk about Aaron. Aaron does win a game with this team. He wins a set. Everybody please clap for Aaron. He did a great job. Moving on to Will's team. Will kept Tarantar, got Bronzong back.
Got
Dilly.
Somehow got Zapdos.
So
and
he combined his team from last season with my team from last season. So, like, if you look over here, It's these two put together.
Yeah.
First and second place team. Now you assume, oh, that would do great. Second to last place. Now, gamers ask, why is this? This is called stretching yourself too thin. Will is bringing these 5 every week. Yep. And Uxi's probably going to be there too. And if he's not, he's leaving one of his best Pokemon behind to bring Credilli. Like, Regice is okay, but not with this structure.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, this
guy doesn't exist. Predictable.
Yeah,
this doesn't exist.
Not real.
Like, it's very... Yeah, it's predictable. You know, it's like, it's a good team. Not when you have to run it 10 weeks in a row with very little variation.
And people are hard prepping for you. Yeah.
Also, half his guys don't like fighting, which is like tough.
Yeah. So, and like,
I've been muted for a
there's
while.
no spinner. So like, Zapdos is your fighting check. You're getting worn down by rocks repeatedly, and like you have Uxie, you get pursued, and like that's that kind of thing. So. But yeah, let this kind of be the lesson, and we're gonna see it again too. Don't stretch yourself thin. So let's go to, as we go over to the second Legacy League, the third draft we did. We've reset keepers.
Yeah,
so
no more keepers.
If it was kept previously, you couldn't keep it again. So Tyranitar was going to be on the market, Jirachi on the market, etc.
My whole team goes on the market because I won.
Yes.
So
so we're gonna start with Brian's team,
who did win the season.
He won the whole thing and went undefeated. Now, I want to kind of preface as we talk about this one that this was the most rushed season we ever did. So we finished this round, and then like 2 weeks later, we jumped right back in because we tried to finish it before BDSP came out.
That's right.
So we were trying to fly.
Yeah.
And once again, we were allowing trading on draft day. And Brian fleeced Will so hard that it actually made the season like irrelevant. It's kind of funny.
Also, Brian got half of my really good guys, i.e. Gyarados, Raikou, and Mismagius. All that I brought to playoffs to win with that season.
Magmortar is there too. So it's like we're seeing that where it's like it's the same faces. Right?
You can see he also got Uxie, which is one of the things he finessed Will out of.
Yeah, so I think the trade, Brian traded Starmie and Gliscor for Gyarados, Claydol, and Uxie.
Yeah.
Which
you basically condensed Gliscor and Starmie into one slot, gained Uxie, and then just swapped. Like, Starmie is okay. Gliscor is a good Pokemon, but the ice weakness. And Gyara, like, that's huge. And then looking at what Will was left with, again, stretched thin, went for Snow or Hail. Bad. Don't do that.
Which got sniped by Aaron.
It got absolutely destroyed by everything. It was not good.
Yeah, but Aaron also took two of the big pieces, being Frostlass.
Well, he couldn't have Frostlass. Because Obama's there. It was literally just Glaceon, and that's not enough of a piece.
True.
Yeah.
Actually.
So, anyway, Brian went undefeated, and he was killing it.
Even Brian with not a real Steel type in Matang, which like, please get a real Steel type. But he
this is a rare example where we didn't even talk about that. All these teams had a really good Steel anchoring them. This one didn't, because it was just so deep, and like the way that the format shifted was like there was nothing that could really stop all of this. It's like you can't kill it. We're too strong. They don't die.
I would have won if Gyarados didn't have Outrage. What is Gyarados at Outrage? Oh well.
But yeah. So we'll kind of talk about our teams real quick. We'll go pretty quick because we're starting to drag on a little bit.
We'll try to focus on like the mons that
we'll talk about like the like let's go from the back. On paper, Aaron drafted a really scary team. Didn't win a game.
Yeah. The Heatran X Magnezone dual weak to ground really was tough for that team. Even if you had Dragonite to switch in on those.
Not enough.
And
Rock destroyed Dragonite. He also has no spinner, so again, Dragonite doesn't train a Magnezone as you'd like it to. Adam
has 4 rock types.
Was this
2,
right?
3. These 5 rock types, It's the same team, except Tyranitar's here.
Yeah,
Jolteon,
I remember.
King, Kabutops, Skarmory.
I think I remember from that season, like he was. Was this when he was addicted to Special Lucario?
Yes.
Because I remember that like actually was solid. Lucario super flexible, great mon. I think if you have the chance to pick it, you should.
Yeah.
My
talk
real
about
opinion.
Will's team. Honestly, there's really nothing to talk about with Pat's team. It's just funny guys all together that exist.
Hey, ban Machamp, am I right? Aha. No, don't ban Machamp.
No,
JT has another round of mediocre looking
this
that
this
doesn't
is
have
where
the it.
You know? This is where the U-turn stuff starts.
He tried to lean heavy
into pivoting. But it's like, what are we pivoting into?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He kept Poliwrath for some reason. He really likes that mon.
Yeah.
Which, like, it gets better in later gens, but not this.
David, I look at your team. I know you got second place. And I wonder how the fuck you did that.
Yeah, so I'll say this was the season that you guys looked at my team on paper and laughed at it, and then I got second place because I was fucking base as shit. Yeah, I went in. So my other draft, you might call it a flaw, is, you know, when we play the same season more than once, I try to get different guys. So I just kept trying to be like, who can I be, you know, do something new with? What technology can I come up with? And this entire team was actually drafted around the basis of getting Houndoom, because I was building with my friend Justin at the time, and he's like, yo, Houndoom's kind of sleeper. And I was like, okay, bet. So this entire team's drafted around Houndoom. But Rotom Appliance, great mon. You keep seeing it, it's good for a reason. I like Kingdra. Matt doesn't, is what it is. It's still a dragon in a format with not a lot of them. Mamoswine, I think is good, others think is bad, which means in draft it's actually better than it is. Gallade, really good secret mon, because it's Gardevoir, but can actually do damage in 2 types instead of 1, because of the fighting stab, but it gets all the support moves. So I ran a lot of Wisp Gallade, which was fun. Spec-Septile, Broken Mon, Hitmontop, good spinner. Houndoom, I ran a lot of mixed Houndooms, so this thing also gets Pursuit and Sucker Punch. Its attack stat is good enough that those moves actually matter in draft. Funny Probopass. Pincer Lead, another good thing because it gets Rocks and Mold Breaker, so you can Earthquake on things that have Levitate, which was a lot of fun. I picked Tauros here as well. I think this was my best NUs on paper as well, which kind of came together. Again, we see Nidoqueen here, really good Stealth Rock, Wall, Toxic Spikes. So yeah, this team was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. A lot of these guys I think get picked up higher or get picked up in Legacy League 3 as well.
Yeah. I'll talk about my team real quick. By the grace of Arceus, I received Jirachi at like the 5th pick because everyone is stupid. Empoleon, this is where No Shoes came from. I always name my Empoleon No Shoes at this point. It's funny, I actually have a giant Pipluff plush that sits on my dresser, and he wears my doctoral hat, and has no shoes. So very important lore that you all must understand. The rest of the team, there's just good mons. Camerup's here again. Venusaur is back. Big fat meanie. And then I just want to get some cool guys like Drapion. Nobody had used him. I thought he was neat. I love Staraptor. And then I picked Shelgon because it was right around this time I actually made a team, and I got really high on ladder with it, to the point where like Shelgon had usage stats on Pikalytics for DPP, which I thought was hilarious, and it was literally just my team. So I spammed the fuck out of that team. I think I got like top 50 with it. There's no reason being that good. Like if it was Dragonite, I could have done better, but it was funny because it was Choice Band, Outrage, Wish, Sleep Talk. Funny. Anyway, that's all I got. I lost to Brian in playoffs. Corey, you got Spinda. Talk to him.
I got Spinda. Yeah, that was the birth of my love of CMOT. We hung out. But yeah, this team looks really, really good, right? Metagross, Latias, Zapdos is the crazy top 3. Kind of mid UUs. Ludicolo can do a lot of work. I think the Nidos are kind of overrated. And I think Toxicroak's not bad. But then my NUs are really based. Typhlosion, Gardevoir, and Painbringer was here, Medcham, who did a lot of work. Yeah, I don't know. Looking at this team, I'm like, why didn't I win? The answer is probably because I throw in playoffs a lot.
I think you lost to me in playoffs.
I think you lost to everybody.
Well, that would be it. That would be me throwing. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was that one, and now it brings us to the last one we did. And we will go pretty quick here because we know y'all want to just hear about the order. Go ahead.
Caveat.
Yeah.
Important caveat. This season we banned the big three. No Jirachi,
Yes.
no Lottie, no T-Car.
Correct.
Yep.
So we got rid of them, and we made a couple of little tiering adjustments. The main one being we brought Weavile down to our OU by Tech borderline slot.
And Arrow, but nobody drafted Arrow.
Yeah, we did that for Arrow, and yeah. But
we also put Raikou in the OU slot.
Yes, and Clefable as well. So this was like our kind of testing grounds for where we are now. This is really the only big ones. Umbreon was one. That's really it. But anyway,
we drafted him.
Adam's brother.
We didn't allow trading anymore.
Yep. Yeah, we went in fresh start, no keepers, no trading, just have fun.
Yeah.
Adam's brother joined us.
Kind of a refresh.
Yep. He missed draft, so we drafted him a team,
which is pretty solid on paper.
Team. So
you like Tropius a lot.
Yeah,
so he was there a lot.
Doesn't love rocks, but he has Claydol.
True. Aaron had Skarm Bliss and some really funny Aaron Reyes Pokemon.
Yeah.
Nope.
First time we saw Honchkrow, he didn't do much, but he was there.
No.
It was cool.
But I mean, again, you know, at this point, you're seeing a lot of Pokemon that are repeating themselves, right? We talk about, and you know, not even an OU, but because you're seeing Toxicroak again, you're seeing Mismagius. I'm actually surprised this is the first or second time we're seeing Weezing. I think that line's pretty solid. Yeah. You're even seeing Probopass again. Jinx is here, which I think can be good. It's an interesting speed tier, and Ice is always good, solid coverage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, weirdly solid team on paper.
If you guys like Suicune, Lucario, Jolteon, Blaziken, Adam's back.
Oh, Nidoqueen's UU this season too.
We did bump Nidoqueen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Adam's got an Adam team. Again, similar kind of placing. Adam would eventually fine tune this process in advanced when we did Gen 3, and it kind of worked. So
yeah,
just not as much here. But Pat had a weird team. Omega, it did well. Like Starmie can spin for these guys. This is very similar to the teams that JT had previous, where it's like,
that's
okay, what do?
Yeah,
you know,
licky, yeah. That's a Wishmon, or not a Wish. That's a Heal Bellmon, which there are not a lot of these in this gen.
This season was when I sold my soul to Garatina.
Joker moment.
At this point.
Right. Yeah.
I became the Joker. Everything that could have went wrong consistently. I lost many sets that I felt like I shouldn't have, or at least should have had a better chance.
I mean, you got frozen.
No. I got frozen a lot.
And that's
like, and that happens.
Why that's important is because your only ice resist is Politoed. So in a format like Draft, where you need to prep for one person a week, people went into looking at Matt's team and were like, it was a lot of HP Ice, a lot of Ice Beam, Blizzard, like whatever Ice move you had was getting clicked to Matt. And
for sure. You know, it's one of those things where it's like the team was set up for that to happen. You know, and you understand that. But then it was like,
but then it got ridiculous.
It was actually kind of crazy. But ended up making it into playoffs as like the final seed. And then got second because luck turned around. So, yeah. This is an ongoing situation that you will all be updated on. Will had a cool Ghost Spam team.
That's right. This was the Ghost team.
So yeah, I don't really remember much about this team, but it's got some cool looking guys.
It's solid for sure. I like a lot of these pieces. Oh
David,
yeah,
you got a team.
Yeah, I kind of I kept Kingdra somehow. I had a lot of fun with Electivire this season. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with Electivire this season because I ran Meditate Electivire, and that was a lot of fun. And it kind of worked with my Blastoise and the Kingdra. Yeah, Nidoking was whatever. Spiritomb, again, really good. Typhlosion was incredible this season. I had a lot of fun with Glaceon. I never used Noctowl. Armaldo is absolute garbage. Do not draft this Pokemon, please, for the love of God. And 12 bricks was 12 bricks. I got third this season. I just couldn't really close out against. It was you and JT that I lost to, I believe so. But again, you're seeing guys here that have been present. Remember, fire types are kind of few and far between. Typhlosion is a good one, so if you get the chance to draft him, take him.
Yeah, real quick, just so we can kind of, we're kind of going on a long time now. But I want to go over Brian's team. Brian went undefeated with his team, and he was team building out of his mind to make these things work.
A cool team on paper.
Yeah. The only problem is he pulled up the playoffs with no Stealth Rocks.
And I
got
beat him
promptly blown up.
Yeah, it really was crazy.
Yeah, this team, when it couldn't properly prepare, just couldn't stand up versus like some of the more top heavy teams. Like Corey's team here. What the hell? Why'd we let that happen?
This was my favorite team I ever had. I finally got to play with my guy Raikou, even though he had to be OU time, but that's okay. He deserves it. You see a lot of top winners here. Raikou, Gagera, both have rings. Uxie, I think, had 2 at this point. Yeah, just a really solid team that, again, basically I brought, Raikou, Gyarados,
This is the third season in a row that Raikou and Gyarados are on a team together.
That's true.
They're good friends.
Yeah.
They're roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates. And then JT won the whole thing with basically having 4 OUs. And Hippowdon really showing how good the permanent sand is. Because no one else had Tyranitar, so it was really just JT running the show.
JT's team, because JT won this season.
Yeah.
Big part, I think, was...
I think my internet cut out. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, cool. This team's very top-heavy.
It came together a lot in playoffs, right? Because I think
I played him. I think it's like the second round. The second round, I played him, and I beat him. And then he came back in losers after icing me for a month. This playoffs took like 2 months in real time, actually.
Yeah, it's a drag on.
Yeah, I would think it was when he was getting married, so
Yeah, shit happens, but we got through it.
So JT seems to win things when he has big life events happening.
True. That's actually weirdly true.
He had the kid power up and he had the wedding power up. So
I would say, especially in playoffs, I think one of the reasons this team just did so well is like you look at it, and this is a weirdly good sand team, because I think he brought Rhyperior for playoffs.
Yes. That
kind of Hippo, Empo, Rhyperior, immune to sand, just suited it really well. And Hitmontop, I think, again, I think is really good. So this is where we kind of saw Weavile prove it's better than BLOU.
Yeah.
A little too good for that tier, because Weavile definitely did some damage as well.
Yeah, Weavile was a big threat, especially with my very Ice Weak team going into playoffs, which is why Miltank was picked up. But yeah. But that's the basic history.
Third season with Pinsir. That's awesome.
No, it's not only his third season with Pinsir. It's his third season with Pinsir and Poliwrath.
That's really funny. That's really, really funny.
It's my third time in a row with Camerupt, but who's paying attention? Not me. But now, it's time to get into the moment we're really here for. So thanks for listening for 45 minutes. So we're gonna lay it out this time. So let's put Ernest here. This is all gonna get randomized live for everybody to watch. It's very exciting.
Oh.
Yep.
So gamers,
My guy Ernest get first pick.
Who do you think is gonna get the first pick? Go ahead and
gotta go to Ernest.
I think it's gonna be Jordan.
You think so?
Yeah. And she's gonna take Infernape round 1.
Don't do that. That would be.
Do not take Infernape.
Yeah, while Matt's filling these in real quick, we mentioned before, right, with Legacy League 3, this is kind of where we started to shape our own version of what we think the meta should really be, i.e. our small tier changes. So a lot of those tier changes have, including things as well, some more things like putting more guys to UU.
We have an order.
Yeah. Oh, well,
we have an order. Wrong.
PhD.
Congratulations. Take a look. Embrace it. Understand it. This is the order.
Remember, this is Snake Draft. So on the first round, Ethan's going to get 2 picks, and then it will go back. He will get 2 picks back to back. Yeah. So, so now let's, some coveted slots. Lottie's banned, but T-Tar's here, and Jirachi's here, but no Ironhead. So, especially considering THT took T-Tar and ADV, there's a chance T-Tar gets first picked here for the minor league season.
Turns out he is a good Pokemon.
Turns out.
But hasn't won a season yet, has he?
No.
No.
Alrighty.
Maybe this is his
our
time.
Final.
Odd weaknesses, you know what I mean?
Our final order.
Oh, God.
Come on. Come on.
David.
Bruh.
Oh, I got last pick. Okay, interesting.
Got fucking middle.
JT first.
This is
a
a
classic.
very, very interesting order.
Yeah.
Thought about killing myself.
So, on that note, we're going to end this. So thank you all for listening. We'll share these images in the Discord. And yeah, that's it. We've been talking for a while.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Gotta love DPP.
True. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.